Do you think the legends are true? We'd only been moving through the rainforest for a few minutes, and already Iguana was darting his eyes left and right. Of course, I knew the legend he was talking about. The Darkstalker. I don't think Darkstalker would be living in a rainforest. I waved a dismissive talon.
Don't say his name.
Iguana's brows furrowed. I should have known better, especially since it was just us out here. I didn't want him to feel as scared and vulnerable, just like our troop waiting for us outside this green maze. The troop suffered heavy casualties after our last battle, some ice wings that just came out of the blue. We lost ice wings in the storm, flying low as we glided to the rainforest. We found a perch near some trees, but we didn't want to venture further into the overgrowth. Or at least, the rest of our troop was unable to. There was no way our siblings could make it through these low branches and uneven ground with that many injuries. Still, I couldn't help but feel that we made the wrong decision leaving them alone. I just hoped to find some orange berries for a couple of healing salves. Just keep an eye out for orange berries, okay? Make sure they're in a pair. There were way too many low-hanging leaves and rustling bushes in our non-existent path. My wings were clamped to my body, hugging me tightly as I shoved my way through the bush. There wasn't even a second where I'd get slapped in the face by a branch. It didn't help that the rain kept pouring even after a retreat. In fact, it became worse. Much, much worse. It made it so I couldn't see 4 wingspans in front of me, so searching for anything would be impossible. Iguana grunted, snagging his talons onto a rogue vine in his way. He fumbled with the vine as it wrapped itself around my brother's frantic arm. Iguana shook his arm away wildly before he pulled against a green snare. I scoffed as he struggled with the impervious trap, glancing around to see if anyone could see my brother make a fool of himself. Maybe some cheeky rainwing was chuckling at his clumsiness at this point. The vine snapped, or at least I thought it was the vine. When I turned to see Iguana, he was tugging on the lengthy plant. It finally snapped. Now he had adorned some flimsy forearm protection as we continued our search of the rainforest. But I didn't want to move.
Don't tell me this place is getting to you too. Quiet.
My eyes darted from the branches to the canopy, looking for any shade of white. The ice wings didn't follow us here, right? There was only a veil of rain that made everything blend into a muddy gray. I strained my eyes to see past the rainy curtain, but before I could dismiss my paranoid mind, something was staring at me. I blinked rapidly, glaring at the orange bulbs. Its body hid behind the zebra pattern of branches as its pinpricked eyes stared at us. I could tell it wasn't a dragon, but then, what was it? Its head tilted as its eyes became bigger, swinging from the branches to come closer. The creature breached through the dimness of the forest. It was just a howler monkey. I couldn't get a word out to Iguana before a shadow snatched it from the canopy.
What was that?
I tried to find the shadow among the trees. That's when the same howler monkey appeared, this time in a dragon's maw. Its lanky arms flailed in the dragon's clamp as it screamed in a deathly tone. A swift crush and the monkey had been silenced. A talon ripped part of its body away as a crimson stream poured from her jaws. The dragon's hue was obscured as her body was hidden behind the thick trunk and the snaking vines. I spotted 2 sharp horns on their head and a row of spikes on their nape leading down into their body. Was it an ice wing?
Iguana. Run,
I said steadily, but he stayed in shock.
I'll follow you, Iguana. Just go.
We flashed into the overgrowth, ducking, slashing, and barging through the thick brush. Thrashing against the bushes, I scraped against the trees to gain as much distance as possible. Iguana was much smaller, though, slithering through the crevice of the rainforest. He kept glancing at me like I was about to lose his trail, but being lost in this jungle alone wasn't on my mind. I glanced at the branches behind us. The dragon snaked around trunks and hopped on each branch swiftly, but stuck to the shadows with each movement. It was like watching a blur within a sheet of smudged paper. I could barely see her. It didn't help that the rain kept splashing my vision away, and honestly I didn't know if her disappearing from my gaze was the best thing to happen. Each time I spotted her, she was getting closer and closer. We were 2 giant targets in this clamping forest, and the rush of rustling leaves became louder and louder. She was closing in. We needed to hide. Fast. Iguana stuck behind a boulder, panting. I skidded onto a bundle of leaves before trying to pull him to me. His chest heaved as his mouth begged for a breath. I knew we couldn't stay here. She definitely spotted us rounding the corner. I looked at the undergrowth, looking for anything that could help us escape. Peering past the boulder, a flash of shining light sped through the rainy veil. I flinched, hiding behind the boulder as it hit the trunk next to me. A silver circle wedged itself as it glinted against the rain. A new Icewing weapon, as silent as it is sharp. An even more chilling thought surged through my mind. It wasn't just an Icewing we were dealing with, but an assassin.
We need a place to hide,
I said, searching for the Icewing among the foliage. Iguana was panting, clutching his talons to his chest. He gave a slight nod as his eyes flicked to different parts of the rainforest.
How about there?
He pointed to a tree with a gaping hole near the canopy.
That tree looks like it'd be big enough to fit both of us. It's not an obvious hiding spot, especially for us.
I was in disbelief.
Are you serious? Why would I be joking right now? Trust me, she won't expect it. If we split up and close in on either side, she'll lose our trail. We just need to hide in the mud and leaves until we're ready to climb the tree.
I took a deep breath. Iguana's eyes stared into mine, looking for a sign of acceptance. I let out a sigh, nodding firmly. Iguana scrambled to the right as I shouldered through the tough branches. Peeking out of the bush, I spotted the tree with the gaping hole. I didn't see Iguana anywhere, but that was probably a good sign. It meant that Icewing couldn't see him either. I dug into the ground, feeling the mud envelop my body. My body collapsed under its warmth, but the heat of distress overcame the safe feeling. I kicked the mud, padding to the entrance. Emerging from the earth, I clawed against a tree, hoisting myself into the tree's opening. The wooden exterior somehow held a rocky inside, and a much larger space, big enough for an entire troop of mudwings. The hollow tree had a stone-cold floor, like the trunk had morphed into some kind of cave. The zephyr flowed within the opening, as if there was another end of the tree. My back hit the walls, as it sent a chilling touch through my spine. The leaves shook. Iguana's familiar panting warmed me briefly, until I saw his claws grip the ground. His wings were splayed out halfway as his head drooped down. His claws had marbled blood. Iguana's arms clutched his side as he limped towards me. I didn't even realize my mouth was agape.
Iguana. I'm fine. Just a little disc. I'll keep an eye out for your berries.
Iguana gripped the stony walls. He collapsed, revealing a silver circle embedded in his torso. It was like a crimson vein, spreading like a virus down his body. And all I could do was helplessly watch.
I'll find something fast. We'll get the medicine for you, and then our siblings, and... Iguana, stay with me.
The chilling breeze returned as a low sigh emitted from the tree's opening.
I really wish I didn't need to do this.
I darted my gaze to the voice, and my eyes widened as I found a pursuer. It wasn't an Icewing at all. The spiky nape, the straight horns. The dragon had no hint of white or blue. Quite the opposite. Pitch black, like a permanent shadow. A Nightwing. He adorned a small brown pouch, held close to his chest. Despite the gloomy darkness of the cave, the shine of the silvery disc glared at me.
Darkstalker? I'm flattered, boys. Really, I am. But Darkstalker didn't use weapons. These are a Deathbringer special.
He brandished his silver discs. I splayed out my wings and dashed in front of Iguana. My claws pinned the ground as I lowered my body, reinforcing my stance. Burrows frowned, muscles tensed. I fixed my gaze on the assassin. He was unmoving, staring at us, calculating. The silence between us was deafening, as the rain helped drown out my worrying thoughts. It felt like an eternity before a voice emitted from one of us. It was Iguana.
What do you want from us?
His voice was slowly fading. Iguana was gradually turning pale by the second. My breaths hitched, silently praying that we could get out of this cave and back to our siblings. The Nightwing arched his neck back, wavering his hunting stance. His voice was surprisingly calm.
I'm very sorry to do this, Mudwings. I seriously would have let you go with a warning, but it's way too late now.
A hint of realization crashed down on me. We weren't leaving this cave, unless I fought for the sake of my siblings and I. I glanced at his stocky torso and proportionate arms, his smaller hind legs and his powerful tail. This was going to be a tough fight.
Mudwing, don't make this hard for yourself.
He snapped me out of my trance.
I'll make it quick and easy.
My snout twitched as I gripped the stone-cold floor harder.
I'm not sitting here to let you kill us.
I analyzed his stature again, glancing at his pouch filled with those silvery discs. I could take him on without that pouch, but I was way too far from him to consider disarming. If I had moved to snatch the pouch, I would have been dead without moving an inch. Iguana choked.
Then, why don't you let us go?
His voice became more hazy and drained. The Nightwing let out a heavy sigh.
You've discovered such a big Nightwing secret, and unfortunately, I can't let you dragonettes go and tell your siblings.
I peeked my head.
Then we won't say a word. Let us live, and... Do you really think I'll believe that? My tribe doesn't even trust our own dragonettes with our secrets until we're 10.
The Nightwing glared at us. I had no other choice. This dragon wasn't going to let us leave. But if we stayed here longer, Iguana wouldn't see another day. Thankfully, I still had one more trick up my sleeve. My throat heated as I flashed a sudden burst of flames on the stone floor. The cave filled up with smoke.
I hoisted Iguana on my back and flew further in.
My fire breath lined the cave, trying to cover our escape. It felt like it was going on forever until I saw an ember light at the end. We were nearly free. That was until I could smell a burning stench, one that was more powerful than my fire breath. A blinding dense fog set into my eyes as flakes of ash covered my vision. Our lightly sodden bodies dried up instantly, and I saw a towering mountain with lava spewing out of its tip.
Intruders!
I heard echo from the cave's exit. Shadowy silhouettes appeared, flying from the mountain as some deviated to reach my position. There were more Nightwings. Was this the Nightwing Kingdom? Sweat dripped down my face, looking back at Iguana who was clutching his stomach.
I'm going to get you home, Iguana. Please just stay with...
A rush of blood. A stinging pain in my neck. I collapsed on the floor, palming my neck where I found the disc. My talons shook. My breath was light. My vision blurred. A tear streamed down my eye as an image of my siblings flashed through my mind, knowing I'd never see them again.